3 of the hinge demo. So this is where we have already tacked our hard solder. All the hinge knuckles are in place, and now we're going to flood them with easy solder so that that becomes a nice strong solder seam and that they stay put whenever we're closing the hinge pin. So there's a number of ways to do this. The way that I found the most successful when we're learning how to do hinges is to solder both of these separately but have support so that they don't move when they're flowing with solder. So find your channel again with your solder brick. I'm going to do the top piece first, so I'm going to place that one directly inside the channel. Then I'm going to bring the bottom piece, and I'm not going to put it in the channel, but rather I'm going to pull it out, and I'm just going to set it so that these knuckles touch one another at the edges, so that if this was to solder, flow, and move, that kind of acts as a support system so that it doesn't wobble and mess up where the placement is on that side. So I'm going to take some flux, and I'm only putting flux where I need it, which is in that seam. And solder goes a long way, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to use half of a sprinkle of easy solder, and I'm placing it right in the middle of that hinge. Goggins is going to do the torch here. He's going to heat up the football first. Now there's no rod in the middle now, so that hinge knuckle is going to get hot very fast. If you want to apply some flux over here so that you don't have to pickle your project, you can. That will keep it clean. So he's really looking at the heat. He's waiting for that to go to a black, and then he'll come over and he'll check out the knuckle. So go ahead and start heating up the knuckle now, right here. We're only working on one side at a time. Okay, so it already flowed, so now we want to focus on the knuckle here so that we get it to flow in the crack. And it did. So now we're going to quench this one. Oops. And you can see that it flowed all the way through. Now we're going to do the opposite. You can turn off the torch for just a second. We're going to turn off the torch for a second. Now we're going to place this one in the channel, and we're going to use this one as a support. We're doing the same exact thing. We're going to put flux on these knuckles in one piece of easy solder, which is the size of a half of a sprinkle. You do not need a lot of solder, otherwise you'll be filing for days. And I haven't met a kind soul yet that wants to do that. All right, so we're ready. We're doing the same thing. Focusing your heat on the larger metal piece, paying attention to if the color of it. And once it becomes a black, you're going to slide over to the knuckles. Maybe just before it's black. So go ahead and swoop around those for a couple seconds. Good. Now come down to the other one. Okay, now focus back over there. Good. Now focus on this. There, it flowed. See that? Now come down to this one. And there we go. See that? That's how you do it. Woo!